Cake and hyperbole, poetry is on the way. Cake and hyperbole, the poetry capsule is whistling, yay. Cake and hyperbole, poetry and life and death and discussion. Sometimes hyperbole, sometimes hyperbole, and cake poetry is on the way.
Hello, everybody. Woo! Love the cake and hyperbole.
Ooh! Oh, I forgot my official poetry tiara. I gotta put it on. There it is. Ready.
Now we're ready.
We're
ready. Yeah, and happy National Poetry Month, April. April.
That's my poetry name today.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I will call you Frangela. You're like, we're so creative.
Frangela. I know. That sounds like a new poetry form, Amy.
It does.
I will probably not do next month.
Well, I'm writing it down anyway because I'll probably be in a bad mood at some time in the next week, and then I'll see that and I'll be like, there's a project, Avery and Frangela. It's like Laverne and Shirley. Oh, I'm so happy.
Well, and I do want to say, I forgot. Anyways, this is because Amy is the breakfast poet. And so she's up at 9 having poetry and doing all these brilliant things. And I stay up till like 3 a.m. And so I'm the second breakfast poet. I'm still in my bathroom. I'm having my coffee. And 12 o'clock. I'm not going to say it's early. Don't judge. But, no. I'm a later person.
You are exactly where my husband and my son would be and how they would be dressed if they had their way. My son had a scout. He has a scout weekend, so I had to get up and take him at like 7:30 in the morning to the church out by you on Liberty, where the bus was to take them. And then my husband had to go to work, and I drove him to work, and it was right by Hobby Lobby, and I had to stop there and look at beads because they were half price. But the point is that they stay way. My husband has to like tell himself verbally, okay, go to bed, Jason, go to bed, because you have to get up and go to work, because he would stay up. And so then we go to bed because he has to go to bed. Then we hear Clyde emerge from his room and go downstairs and have his teen freedom life. And we're like, good for you. We're going to sleep.
Yeah.
Fine.
All right.
Here we are. Yes.
I'm putting it in chat.
Oh, cool.
We are here.
Here we are.
Yes. One of the things, wow, I think I really need more coffee. I do want to say, this is going to be one of those poetry months, which I just had. We've both already done a poetry event, so maybe that's why we're a little bit like, oh, we're still here.
Yeah. Yes, again. I have on my Emily Dickinson shirt. Last night I was like, ooh, because I was also at Hobby Lobby yesterday. That's why I went back, because I couldn't find the blocks. I don't know how I need to move my music stand so that I'm like actually in the frame, but they didn't have the blocks to carve on, and there's a couple of poet birthdays coming up that I want to carve for. But I went ahead and made a shirt with Emily Dickinson. She's like, there's 5 of her. I can't get right here. That way. It's always opposite of where I want to go. And then she's like peeking on this shoulder. So
that's cute.
That girl.
So you just made that like last night?
I bought the shirt at Hobby Lobby. I had carved the block months ago. I don't remember when I carved it. I was doing a lot of carving at some point, and carved a bunch of hot poets. She's hot poet number 4. This is available as a print on paper in my Etsy shop, Hypness and Outrage. If anybody, just got to have an Emily. But this is Emily to the max, because there's like 4 3/4
it's an army of Emily's.
That's right. Which brings me to a real quick point while you're gathering your caffeine. Okay, Choco Love are my favorite chocolate to buy, because they always have a poem inside the wrapper. They have a new variety called Mint Creme. So it's mint. The dogs heard that. I
will mute that while you're reading that.
Mint cream in dark chocolate, 55%. Dairy-free and gluten-free, if that's what you need. On the inside is part of Wild Nights from Emily Dickinson. I'll read it real quick because it's short. Wild nights, were I with thee. Wild nights should be our luxury. Futile the winds to a hardened port. Done with the compass, done with the chart. Rowing in Eden, ah, the sea. Might I but moor tonight in thee? Emily. So that's Emily Dickinson giving us some steamy, steamy poetry on the inside of the wrapper of Choco Love, mint cream and dark chocolate. I just had to, for Poetry Month, explore flavors I hadn't bought before to see if they had different poems inside, which they do.
I love that. You know, that is a worthy exploration. I approve of
so.
this. I might join you in that exploration.
It has like bailed me out of many like moments this week. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna have a square of that mint cream and dark chocolate. You know.
Oh, well, speaking of wrappers, because you were reading your wrapper.
Yes.
So all of that barking was because my son came in, speaking of sons and adult sons,
Yes.
came in with his dog from a walk, and he had his music going and the dogs are all like barking. So we had our own little chaos. So I didn't hear any of that.
Well, you better go out then and buy yourself a Choco Love mint cream and dark chocolate.
Yeah,
Have you
that
some
really
wild nights. It was
like
steamy.
Perfect
like
excuse.
It. So yeah.
Steamy and chocolate go together like,
Oh, that's Choco Love. They know what they're doing.
Speaking of things that go together, everybody, we have a contest today. Oops, that's the wrong page. And then I always have that moment of, oh my God, where's the page?
See, that's me.
The hashtag to win today is furry love. And we're not talking about we're not promoting any kind of lifestyles here, but it is National Ferret Day. And ferrets are furry and we love them. So while I have no ferrets myself, I used to have them.
Yeah.
And what are we giving away? We are giving away this copy of Foundlings by Cindy O'Quinn and Stephanie Ellis with a signed book plate inside. I will send this anywhere in the world. I see Pete. I think Renata might also not be, I was going to say in this world, but I mean in the country of the United States. I'll send this copy of Foundlings from Cindy. Wow, this is going to be one of those interesting. I'm sorry already, Amy. I apologize. What you're doing, in advance.
These are your John Berryman dream songs. This is your Jabberwocky. I'm cool with
exactly. All gibberish is, But yeah, if you type furry love, hashtag furry love in chat, at the end of this, you could win this copy signed by these two wonderful ladies. I love this poetry book because it's found poetry. It was Alessandro Manzetti and Linda D. Addison. They took their poems and found poems in those poems, which is why it's Foundlings.
Ooh. Oh my goodness.
So it's kind of like awesome poetry squared, or however you say that. But I should stop now before I hurt myself. That'll be at the end. Don't let me forget to do this giveaway.
Yes.
And then
let Pete know his thing. The thing
that's what I was just going to bring up. Yes. And we usually have our Pete moment where we have the video interlude of Pete reading. And unfortunately, my Dropbox is full and it will not let me access videos this morning. And so I have to figure out how to clear it. And I can do that, but I'm worried there's a lot of shared documents in there. And so it's asking me, am I deleting these? And so I want to make sure I'm not deleting somebody else's critique group or something horrific. So I'm going to delay that reading until next Cake and Hyperbull, or I might be able to play it through the month as part of the other festivities for April. But I do have it, and I do want to play that. I just have to get into my Dropbox. And don't get me started on Dropbox. This is why I object to this. I refuse to pay for something that Google gives me for free. And anyways.
Agreed. Yeah.
So how about you? What news do you have? What news, Amy?
What news have I? Okay, yes. I want to emphasize, I have my list. I wanted to emphasize that you're doing your daily second breakfast / lunchtime poetry. I'm gonna refer to it as second breakfast poetry. I love it. At around noon daily here on your YouTube channel, Angela Yuriko Smith. While I am doing an earlier, yours is around noon Central, mine is around 9 a.m. Central. It usually depends on, is my husband doing laundry? Do I need to drive him to work? Are they running around? Is anyone listening? I like to do all my weird stuff kind of alone, but sometimes I do it when they're here. Anyway, that is around 9 Central at Hypness and Outrage with the underscores in between on Instagram. So we are shooting for daily in National Poetry Month. I'm reading breakfast poems that I have accumulated over a few years. I'm also writing some new ones so that I can fill the month. But people like Jim Hill and Blaise Langlois have sent in poetry. They've sent in enough poems that I can read some today and some through the breakfast poetry session. So if you would like your poetry read on maybe our third Sunday poetry, or definitely on my breakfast poetry in the morning at 9, send it to me at Hypness and Outrage. You can direct message me, and that's on Instagram. So let us know if you didn't get that, and we'll make sure you have the information you need to do that. And Angela's got the coolest giveaways on hers. I'm going to emphasize the giveaway that you're doing. It hasn't had many takers, and I think that's because live is tricky. When we do short lives, when we do short lives, people might not hit on it, but she's got this really cool feature on her StreamYard that lets her do drawings if a lot of people enter. The contest, or the daily contest, is an opportunity for a poetic license, which it's an opportunity to contribute a poem to a collection that Angela is hoping to gather for the month of April 2022, a moment in time, different poets contributing, if enough people are present and enter. So there it is. There's the poetic license. It'll have your name on it. It'll entitle you to contribute a poem to a collection that will be published. So that's very exciting. Consider that. So that's our call for poetry.
That is the Chup. Nina said, I don't know if you saw my Instagram, and I had the Chup on my shoulder.
Yes, I saw that.
This is the Chup himself. He loves to be on the shoulder. And he actually does that all the time. Like if I bend over and I'm looking under a chair or something, he will jump up and he puts his butt right there on the shoulder, and he will just be like, I'm going to take a nap. It's okay. We're all good here. Meanwhile, I'm like, okay, I can do this for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're getting on, Choopy. Oh, sweetness. Who's the baby? Oh.
I feel like there was something else I was going to say, and I don't remember what it was. We got Pete, just so he's not wondering, mentioned the Furry Love Contest.
You've got Megan's book of poetry. I will quickly say Megan is on Instagram at an echoing Genesis, like dots in between each word, and echoing Genesis. She is doing a 100-day project involving bodies in verse is the name of it. She's collecting photographs of, she's shooting for 100 women. I don't know if she has all that she needs, but I know that there have been times when she didn't have. So she's trying to get people to participate. Take a photo of yourself or contribute a piece of artwork. It doesn't have to be your whole body or your face even. It can just be part of you, whatever you're comfortable with, and then give her a little bit of your story of what your body has been through or done for you or all of the above. And she will convert it into a poem that she has written. And that's for this 100-day project. We're on about day 48, I think. So there's time. And Angela has her book of poetry to talk about.
I do. I'm reading Wild Song right now, which is her book. And her name, because I know her by the Echoing Genesis, Megan. And do you know how to pronounce her last name? Mahajan?
I had trouble knowing exactly how to pronounce that as well. But yeah, that sounds like what I was thinking as well. Mahajan.
Yeah, Mahajan. So yeah, and beautiful poetry. I really enjoyed this book, and I will be reviewing it, and then I'm going to pass it on to Amy so she can enjoy this gorgeous book. But we are all about the sharing of the poets and the poetry. And if you're here right now watching us, we absolutely love you. You are exquisite because you are a poet, or you're poet friendly,
or poetry freak. Yeah.
And we need all kinds.
We do. We need anyone who's thinking about poetry, even for a minute.
Yeah, so go ahead and catch Amy at Hypness and Outrage for breakfast poetry, and then I will see you around noon every day this month. Knock on wood. I'm not making any hard promises, like if I don't do this, you can kill me, because you might end up killing me.
That's been me with the 100-day project. Sometimes I'm there and sometimes I'm not, but usually I'm there. But this, I'm going to try.
I think we can do this. I think we did it last year with our lives. Didn't we do live every day?
We
together?
did. We did.
Every Sunday.
every Sunday, and it was
That's what it
so
was.
much fun. A lot of people contributed poetry. We met a lot of our poetry community through there.
Yeah.
Jim, Pete, Rena. It was a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
contribute.
I look forward to it. Oh, and I should say the Horror Writer Association Poetry Showcase opened up for submissions yesterday officially. It will go until the 1st of May. That is only for HWA members, but if you're not a member, this is a good time to go look into it. So, and you can find all that information at horror.org. And I'll be editing that this month. Well, this year I'm editing this one, which is 9, and then number 10. And so,
Cool.
yes, definitely worth it. That is such a fun project. We're going to
Yes.
release it at Halloween.
Ooh.
But yeah, I have no more little tidbits of news if you want to get started on actual poetry.
I think you have one more thing. You're doing that really cool class on papyrus. So yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, I can actually show off that book. Speaking of books to show off with my Chuck. Yeah, and I actually redid this book and added photos to it. Like I figured out how to add images. But yeah, this is a book that I published last week. This is the first book that I published with author Papyrus, and that is a free program. I have been waiting to find free book layout program forever. And the point is, because if it's free, anybody in the world can access it and you can lay a book out. Literally, I got on Papyrus, I laid out 2 ebooks, and then I did a paperback, and Papyrus does all the work. So anybody can publish a book, and I am teaching a class to show you from the very start to the very end. Woo! You can do it with a chihuahua in your lap. Like that happens.
That easy.
Yeah. Woo, I feel
Power.
free. Yeah. And so like every single thing, the BISACs, the ISBNs, all of that, I'm going to teach everybody how to do. Everybody will have the power to publish. And that's the point. And not because publishing companies are, evil or anything like that. I have one. But it's just nice. They're not for everybody. And this puts that power, everybody can do a YouTube video now. Everybody can, we have access to everything. Now let's everybody have access to publishing.
Yeah.
So that is every Saturday on my blog at angelawysmith.com.
Every Saturday.
The last class was this. It was this building story, which is just talking about things that have helped me the most in my career. And then this one is how to build an actual book. And then the next one will be building sales. And that'll be another 12-week program talking about all the weird stuff like BookBub. Not that BookBub is weird, but those things that really do help you sell that are, not as easy to understand. So that was that. I actually thought you were talking about the little pocketbook class. But yes, I should talk about the actual class.
The class. The people need the class. So yes, that's awesome. Okay, now I think we can get to poetry whenever you're ready.
Poetry. Yes.
Yeah, of all things. All right.
Imagine that. Poetry here at Cake and Hyperbull.
That's right. Poetry gab and then a little poetry. So that's kind of what we do.
A lot of gab. But
yeah. Anyway, to poetry. I've got one from Jim here. Jim has sent me some poetry for National Poetry Month. I'm going to start with, it's untitled, but in parentheses next to it, Holy Man by Jim Hill. I should tell you how to feel holy, your mind blown, your soul in pieces. You walk my holy walk, but mock my holy talk, taking me to task for not perfecting the intention of God. What you do for an encore astounds me. I find myself tracing your steps as an Arthur Murray dance pattern, and I wind up pirouetting to the bar and beyond, jackknifed jewel refusing to be born again.
Nice.
I really enjoyed that one, Jim. That one was intense and like lots of good imagery. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I always enjoy Jim. We're lucky because we have some really good poets that contribute to the show here so that we can read them.
Yes, it is a great thing to share your poetry. And this
that
is a
actually
great place to do
inspired
it.
the background music.
Nice.
That it was such a good poem. Background music was created.
I love it. The magic comes together in National Poetry Month.
All right. I will read a poem. I have a poem because it's National Poetry. I'm sorry, it is National Poetry Month, but also because it's National Poetry. Start that one.
Ferret.
Ferret. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. It's National Ferret Day. You can tell I think a lot more about poetry than ferrets.
I do too.
So I have
Confession.
yeah. You don't think about ferrets all the time? You don't think about hashtag furry love all the time?
I'm afraid that ferrets will steal my keys and hide them, and I do not need any help losing my stuff. So
They do. Yeah.
no offense, ferrets.
I used to have ferrets, and yes, they are very they're adorable and monstrous.
Yeah, naughty. They're naughty.
So I did write a
Can't do it.
poem, a pantoum. And one of the reasons why I like pantoums, I always tell people who are just starting poetry, structure is a really good place to start because you can be very creative and free in the structure. And pantoums, you can just let that creativity just kind of fly. And then the poem kind of writes itself. Because with a pantoum, and I'm probably going to say this wrong, and we have our game. That's the other thing I was forgetting. Yes. So we have Poetry Mad Libs coming up. So yeah, we'll explain that in just a minute.
Yay.
But a pantoum, I'm reading this. I don't know this off the top of my head. A pantoum is a poem of any length composed of 4-line stanzas in which the second and fourth line of each stanza serve as the first and third line of the next stanza. And the last line of a pantoum is often the same as the first, so it brings it full circle.
Ooh,
and yeah, the pantoums are really fun because there's a lot more meaning comes as you start repeating the phrases and they get repaired up in different ways.
Ooh.
So this is not a terribly deep one. It's about ferrets. But I will read that real quick.
All right.
And look at this technology. I will share screen. Here we go.
Yes.
Boom. So you can read along. A ferret is more than a tiny fiend. They are capricious faux friends. They show love with needle teeth. They are furry, feral devils. They are capricious faux friends, calculating jesters, disarming. They are furry, feral devils. The wildness never leaves them. Calculating jesters, disarming. It's a good thing they stay rather small. They are furry, feral devils, the mammalian version of dragons. It's a good thing they stay rather small. Ferret playthings don't last long. The mammalian version of dragons, a ferret is more than a tiny fiend. Wow. Today is not my day to be reading anything.
I love that mammalian dragons line. That is fabulous. Oh no, that was good.
If you just saw the second breakfast poetry reading, I stumbled over furry feral so much. It was like flip.
That is hard. It's a lot to ask of the mouth, especially early at second breakfast time. Yes. Loved it. Yeah.
So, but I did forget to mention the game that we will be playing. I knew there was something else.
I forgot that too.
And we, for the first time ever, right here, will be doing or attempting to do Poetry Mad Libs. And so at some point here very soon in chat, we're going to ask for a noun, verbs, adjectives, and then we will put these in the first verse. Probably just do the first verse because I don't know how long this will take. The first verse of The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, and then we will read that Poetry Mad Lib that we come up with together. And if this works, if this is a thing and everybody likes it, then we will do this every time, I think. Pretty much every time.
I will love this. So think of your parts of speech now while we're winding up to it, but not during the poems that we're going to read, of course.
Yeah,
inspired by those.
We can't all say but, okay? You can only use but once, and boob once, and
fart.
Poop.
Yeah. We were talking about that in pottery class last Monday. Poetry pottery. It's going to be hard to keep those straight, but we were talking about how we loved to do Mad Libs when we were young, but we would always say fart. And I had this memory of my cousin and my sister and me. We were doing them at Pizza Hut because it was on the placemat, and my cousin kept using the word cheesy for the adjective. so we came up with the phrase cheesy friends. They were very cheesy friends because it was a Pizza Hut like
Yeah.
kids thing and stuff. And so we used that phrase cheesy friends for the rest of our youth. You know, it came up all the time. It was so there you go. Memories will be made here today on Cake and Hyperbull with
right.
the Mad Libs.
More
Oh, I can't wait to rewrite
crazy
the reading.
ideas. We just can't stop the crazy ideas.
They just keep a coming. They keep a flowing. Okay, I
Right.
shall read one from Blaise Langlois.
Oh yes, I want to hear
If
this.
you're ready. Alrighty, it's called Little Red. I'm gonna put my
I'm
glasses
going to mute
on.
myself
Like,
real quick.
All right.
And I'm actually going to go beat dogs. Oh, I'm sorry, not really.
No,
Beat them because they're like beat poets. That's what I mean. Like, you know.
that's right. Write some beat poetry. Be beatific. Be
Yeah.
improvisational bebop poetry with the dogs right now. Okay, cool.
Okay. So yeah, I will
I
be
should
right
read-
back.
All right, I'm reading Little Red from Blaise Langlois. With curled lip, he reveals an invitation to ignore advice given by little old women. Do not talk to strangers. He salivates, inhales my innocuous flavor, and with clawed hand the stranger offers his assistance, believing I am lost. Oh, deception. This path was not chosen by the ever-polite gentleman, with eyes black and knowing, and my perfume upon his mind. Compulsion. And I, drawing back my hood of crimson, depreciatively greet him with my Machiavellian grin, for I have fangs too. Blaise Langlois. I love it. Little Red.
I think I need to. I feel
Rewind
like
and hear that.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch that on the replay. So yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot we have a replay.
We do thank the Lord for those moments. And so those are our two guest poets today, other than
Nice.
ourselves. So
And
thank
Pete,
you,
who will
Jen.
be delayed,
Oh,
but
and Pete,
yes, we
yes.
will still have Pete.
Thank
So
you,
we'll-
Pete, for sending. Sorry about the tech. Yeah.
Yeah, I blame Dropbox personally.
Yeah, I found it a little bit tricky. There was a point back in the fall, late summer, where a group of us were doing, there's a group of musicians that do music, and I was invited to play the harp on something, a song about Morrissey, and it was from Peril, at Peril Music, if you know Peril on Instagram. And I don't know what happened to it. I know somebody had to drop out because of a health issue in their family, and I don't know if that's what derailed it, but I've never heard about it since. But I had a little trouble with Dropbox doing that. But that's not saying much. It's me. So,
Well, Dropbox is not my friend,
yeah,
but
Oh,
so I know I
fun.
forget that I have these. So yeah, I have
that's
to
so
use these.
fun.
That was completely had nothing to do with anything, but I was just like,
That's
oh,
okay.
I like the guy with the little fan.
That's so cute. He looked like a tiger from here. I don't know. I
It's
had
a
ju-
little raccoon.
Oh,
So
little raccoon.
I-
I had just received a text from a friend of mine out in Lawrence, Kansas, which just made me think that Lawrence, Kansas is like a bad word with like my dad. My dad is no longer with us, but my sister and my dad, it was like, if we would go to Lawrence, Kansas, we would never tell them because they're like, hey, you, because, you know, we all went to Mizzou and stuff in Columbia and we're rivals, but, you know, it's really no contest. KU is usually smoking everybody in their path in like basketball and certainly Mizzou, because Mizzou had all kinds of, there seemed to be a lot of emotional problems in all the sporting teams. Not that I follow sport, but I would hear anyway, my friend out in Lawrence is going to be taking photographs. He just sent me one. I haven't looked at it. And I'm going to be writing poetry to them. So I'm pulling him because he likes to just
nice.
take daily photos. So I'm like, look, send them to me and I will write poetry on them. So that'll be something that I may share somewhere at some point randomly,
Yeah.
or in the breakfast poetry, or probably in Third Sunday poetry. So that'll be
Yeah. Well, and
So there's
you
different
guys will
chapters.
be able to publish a book. You'll have the power.
Yes! Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Wouldn't that be fun?
Cover too, yeah, the whole thing. So I'm excited to
would-
see what
yeah.
happens with this.
I think he would love that. He's a friend I've known since I was like in 7th grade. So that would be pretty
Awesome.
cool. Yeah. Awesome. All right. What have you?
I will. I actually don't know if I should read. I'll read a little bit of one of these poems, but I wanted to talk about this, which a couple of you have probably seen on my
Mhm.
Instagram. It's
Yes.
Shimanshu. God, it's not my day for language. Shimanshu, especially other languages.
Yeah.
Shimanshu Nukwi, which means voice of the Shimanshu, which is the indigenous peoples of Okinawa, which I'm 25% of. And so we have really, there's like a lot of issues with Okinawa right now and the military bases on there. And I'm not going to get all political, but, you know, bases out of Okinawa.
Yeah.
But no,
Well,
you know,
yeah.
not being political. But
That's
yeah,
okay.
they would like the Ryukyu kingdom returned to the Ryukyuan people, which are the Shimanshu. But anyways, this is a little magazine they put out. And so this is the second one. And I just love this magazine. It is so beautiful. Wow. So of course I turned to the non-beautiful page. This
Oh,
one
no, it
has
was-
a lot of the hijiki, which is the tattoos. And thank you, Nina, for sharing this. Nina Dark Angela in chat shared this on Instagram. I think I'm hitting every not good photo.
No, I saw some good ones. I saw some really good pages. Oh, look at that one.
This
There's
one.
one that's like a black page. Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah, and lots of
Ooh.
photo, and it's all the
Wow.
Shimanshu or Uchinanshu. You can say both, because one means island people and one means people of the Uchina. So, but yeah, they
That
have
is
some
beautiful.
poetry in here, photography, indigenous things. So I thought I'd just read a little bit. I don't want to read somebody else's poem without their permission, but this is written in Brazilian Portuguese, and because there's a lot of Shimanshu there, and in English, and they have it. I believe everything is also in Uchinanshu, which is not the language. Uchinaguchi is what the actual language is called. Oh yeah, see, there's some Uchinaguchi, I think, but that's actually on the endangered languages list from UNESCO.
So they've got it. They're keeping it alive and getting it out there. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and if I didn't struggle just so much with like English words, I'd probably be like super inspired to try to learn Uchinanshu as well, or Uchinaguchi. But
you may wake up one day and know it is time. So
yeah. I have read, because there are people of the spirit, like it's not a blood thing, it's a spirit thing that connects people. So if you're Shimanshu at all, you are Shimanshu. I've read that, and the language is supposed to be a language of the spirit, which I was like, so there might be hope for me, because I do a lot of things off the cuff and in that spiritual realm, you know. So usually don't know what I'm doing. I just get told what I'm doing. That's how I figure everything out.
Bob Dylan would agree.
Yeah. So what are we doing today? I don't know. Let me listen.
That's right. What are the ghosts saying?
Yeah, rip up that to-do list. We're off. No,
That's right.
They never say that, unfortunately.
Oh.
But so this is I Don't Know My Name by Reed Ridens or Riddens. And I'll just read a little bit of it because, like I said, I don't want to take somebody else's work. Indigenous names stolen, changed, erased, in better fit of colonial narratives that overtake the knowledge of people, places, and times that fade away like sand in an hourglass, slipping through the cracks in my hands, like, and then I'll stop there. Mostly because there's a lot of words that I don't know how to pronounce.
Even so, that's a wonderful sample.
Yeah, that's actually
of the thing.
One of the reason why I like that poem is because that's my experience of that, the name, you know, losing your name to colonialization. My middle name, Yuriko, is my grandmother's name. It actually is my name too, which, funny sidebar, my husband thought that wasn't my actual birth name. Like he thought I was just using it like in honor of my grandmother, but that actually is my birth name. It says Angela Yuriko Smith on my birth certificate. So I thought that was funny because we've been married like 10 years, 11 years. Of course, I found out he was Catholic, I think year 5. So.
Oh, wow. You guys and your secrets, you just keep unfolding like an onion.
That's those things you never think about talking about. But, but yeah, that's her name was Yuriko Kayota. And she went to, I guess like a Catholic school or something like that. Or it could have been, you know, the Pearl Harbor and the camps. And, you know, I don't remember exactly where. But the nuns couldn't say her name, Yuriko. So they renamed her Mary. And so to her, Yuriko as a name was a terrible name. So when I had asked her, you know, as the like super worshipful teenager, young, you know, I think I was 12 or somewhere. And I said, like, I'm going to name my first baby after you, Grandma, because, you know, I love you so much. And she got upset and she told me, do not, no children. Like, I have to promise her none of my children will be named Yuriko, because it's not a white people's name. And she wanted the babies in the future to have that, well, now it's completely different. Now
Right.
it's okay to be, who you are, your cultural self. And so that's why I always use my name. I've kept that promise. I've never named a child that, but I always use that name. So that poem, that's to me what it says. It's that experience of her thinking that her name was not a good name, and I'm like,
Yep.
think of like, what if you just woke up someday and then somebody's like, Amy, I don't like how that rolls off the tongue. You're now Bob.
Yeah. Like
Amy's
a lot
not
of
good
that.
enough. That person that is Amy, I actually
And
feel bad
especially
even saying that as an example. So I apologize.
And she was a child. So children, they take what adults tell them many times, many children do, as like, oh, okay, that's how the world is, because I'm kind of new here. And if you say so, and that is so sad. When I worked at I used to work at Washington University in St. Louis in just like receptionist in the math department. One of the math professors was an older woman who had been displaced in World War II. She was from Poland, which, like, my grandfather's family is from. He was the first generation born in America, so that I'm 25% Polish. Like, on that note, and she had her babies in the 50s and did not teach them Polish, and my grandfather didn't teach my mother or my aunt Polish either, because she just didn't do that back then. It was like you were as American as you could possibly be. And Barbara, the gal at the professor at WashU, was like, I wish I had taught them my language. And she was saying, and this was in like 2001 to 2003, I worked there, and she'd look back and be like, it's a shame that I didn't teach them that, but you just didn't do that back then. And because like my grandfather grew up speaking Polish too. He had a brother and two sisters and his mother and father, and then the Polish kids in the neighborhood. But then he changed his first name from Aloysius to Alex, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He kept his Polish name, his last name. But so it's just weird how that like was just, everybody was just trying to fit in and be the same.
Yeah, I'm glad that we've evolved. I know we have.
Me too.
More, obviously, way further to go, but it's nice that I can do that, and I don't really fear repercussions and things like that. That's one of the things with the Hijiki tattoos that is featured in this magazine so much. That's the tattoos that a woman, Okinawan woman, used to wear on the back of her hands, and they were like super precious, and they evolved her whole life that she would keep putting different features, but they all had the same flavor of whatever island they were from. And one of the cool things that I thought about that was what they were also markers to say you're a woman of the Shimanshu. And so when women would get kidnapped, as women did, I guess, back then, and put into slavery, if the Uchinonshu merchants saw a woman with Hijiki, he would do anything in his power to return her, like buy her, because you'd have to buy her. Because she was owned as property. So he would do whatever he could to free her, kidnap her back, whatever it took to bring her back to her island. So, and that is one of the things that imperialistic Japan, not pointing fingers at any Japanese, but that government, that mindset, and we all have these, government mindset problems. Because of it, they made it like, that's like a slumlord thing to do. Nobody gets tattoos. So the women stopped and they wouldn't talk about it. And so the third and the generations now are trying to revive that custom, so I'm going to get Hijiki. And that is, and Nina's like, I can't wait to see him. I can't wait to do it. And I am taking time with it because it's like a spiritual kind of thing. And it usually was a woman that would do it for you with, they call it hand poking. So one needle. And so I'm kind of trying to find that experience, but if I can't, because it's kind of rare, I will go get the gun. But I'm still going to try to find like maybe an Asian woman or something. But so cool. I'm really excited, and that's what I shared with Echoing Genesis. Yep, I drew them because I don't have them, but I drew it on my hand, and then that was my story. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. And you have your story there too.
Yes, exactly. Mine was earlier on, because when I read about it, I like did one that day. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And so I think it's a really cool project. And so, yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see when you get your tattoos.
Yeah, me
However you get
too.
them, how that
Yeah.
comes out. That's going to be awesome.
I kind of want to rush because that's how I always do everything. Like, I have to do it now. But I'm also like, you know, it's also kind of a special thing. It's not like, you know, what is it, the 13th Friday the 13th tattoos, you know, and you get them for like $30 or $13 or something. It's not like exactly like that. So
right. No, exactly. It's something that's much deeper for you. Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm actually going to call up Echoing Genesis and share that and yours. And do you, I just read, do you have a poem?
I do. I have one.
I think you have like some spider fusion that I'm really excited to
This
hear.
is I didn't do any today. I did some last time that we did poetry, but this is from the same collection of that, The Moon Devoured, which, so I mean, the whole chapbook is kind of like this fusion with a muse, fusion with the moon, being obsessed with the moon. Does it drive you crazy? I don't know. I'm certainly not going to spoil the ending, but this is an excerpt of one that I think kind of reflects our poetry attitude of how, you know, we welcome poetry. All right. I scribble 10 pages concerning the shape of his nose and our coming death day tango. This is kind of from the poem before, but I like it. I'm leaving it in there. I can smell the clean cold of lunar soil and hear the earth cracking some distance from here. Moonlight escapes my fingernails. The room is so bright I ask forgiveness. Where a moment ago I combed the song of the moon's heavenly hum, I now sing an old television commercial for toothpaste. I emerge, moon bathed, moon swaddled. My hair now streams the color of wine. My earrings dribble, cascading filigree, and I spout my invitations incessant. Take part in this poetical human act. Fill your tank, drown your cup. I am only one in a maudlin mob, one dot in crowing waves of humanity, pounding the sand of the ages, and I decline to throw stones at your song. So, as my coffee mug says, you are seriously awesome. So go ahead and send us your poetry, and we will devour it.
I agree with that. I love that. What was the line about the moon from my fingernails? Tell me, what does that even mean? Like, that was such a cool image.
Okay, well, moonlight, where is that? Like, moonlight escapes my fingernails. Okay, well, there's some origins to that. First of all, I would say that it's emerging, you know, with the moon and a muse, and the muse is sometimes the moon, sometimes a spider, sometimes a muse, you know, and stuff. So the moon is filling this character as she's obsessed with it and bathes in it. And then I believe there is a part in It's a Wonderful Life where George Bailey is like, do you want the moon, Mary? I'll throw a lasso around it and get it for you. And she's like, well, then what? And he's like, well, then you swallow it and it comes out of your hair and your ears and he might have said fingernails, but probably. So absolutely take it where you find it. That stuck with me for decades. Oh, George Bailey. I'll love you till the day I die. So that is part of Moon Devoured, which is a as yet unpublished chapbook, but I think that I'm going to, when I learn how to use papyrus, get that one in there, or just copy and staple it and send it out. I'm trying to get one together just copied and stapled before we're too far into poetry month, so that if anybody direct messages me or anything like that, just with the request over here, I will send it to you. It's just going to be like a giveaway, spread the poetry thing. So either that or hot soda. I haven't decided which one yet, and I don't know. It's probably, you know, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna do one of them. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So yeah.
Yep, and that's pretty much how I think we tend to wind up doing things. Like there's not a lot of planning here sometimes. Just a very, you know, but it's the spontaneity. The spontaneity.
That's the word I wanted. I almost said sporadic, but so I'm glad you came up with
sporadic. The sporadic spontaneity.
That's right. Often frequent.
Oh, right. Nina says she votes hot soda.
Hot soda. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I do like that.
I was going to say, soda. Nina, it's great that you did that, because I almost was going to like mention it in one of my morning things and be like, vote in the comments. Well, anyway, I've got 1 vote for hot soda. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll vote for hot soda.
Okay,
I will
2
try to
votes
be
for
up.
hot
I will
soda.
try to be up at that time, but I will put my vote in
That's
now
okay.
for hot
Put
soda.
it in now. I'm keeping track, and the other is Moon Devoured. Yeah. All right, cool.
Oh, I like Moon Devoured too.
It's hard. It's
Yeah,
a
so
hard
many-
decision.
And I vote both.
What I want to do is I want to do a block print of the Moxie Man. Somebody posted, just sidebar real quick. Somebody posted that I follow that like deals with like vintage items. There's something coming up in May that I can't get into because it's going to be expensive, like bidding on vintage items. But there is a jacket from the 1910s with the Moxie Man on it. Moxie was a kind of soda pop back in the old days.
Yeah.
And there was always a guy that was like, drink Moxie. And he was beautiful. He had that like lustrous hair. And he's an artwork. I don't even know if it's a real guy, but he's got like the hair that's parted and shining. And I'm like, I'm going to carve that guy. And that's going to be the cover of Hot Soda, because that's some hot soda. Right there. So, and that's basically the premise of the book. Hot soda applied to various little imaginings that usually involve some hot soda and some hot soda. So something like that.
Oh,
I've gone too far. Okay.
You have it right here. Hashtag furry love and hot soda on Cake and Hyperbull.
Oh yeah.
All kinds of heat going on in here.
Yeah.
Now, I, as a person who did not do my spider fusion poetry, if this was a class, if Cake and Hyperbull was a class, I would have failed, I think, because I constantly don't do my assignments.
Oh,
or I turn them in late.
Life. I prefer life to school. I'm going to just say that. I loved school when I was in it, but you didn't. My son did not. My son suffered. And so, it's like, now that I'm out of it, I love the way life is,
Yeah,
no
it's a little bit unstructured. There should be guidance, but not solid structure. Though, I mean, structure is good. I'm not completely anarchist, because I found out I would lose that battle when I looked that up. But
yes,
a little bit of anarchy, just a tiny bit. Artistic anarchy.
Well placed anarchy.
Yes,
exactly.
Intentional anarchy.
Yes, with intention.
Yeah. So, but I will share this. This is a little book that I used to do ages ago. Oh, I should have brought that down. I just found the originals that inspired me to do this. They're by John Reinhardt. And sidebar, I'm going to use your phrase, sidebar, way a couple of years ago, I was going to say way long time ago, but like 4 or 5 years, I was in California on the Queen Mary at a StokerCon convention. And I always smoke at conventions. I actually don't know if I'm going to do that this time, because smoking has just not been enjoyable to me at all. But I'm still going to bring the cigarettes and see. And if not, then I'll give them to somebody. Yeah. But I like smoking at these conventions because it's a social thing. And it's, fun to everybody gather around the trash can out in the cold or whatever. But anyway, so I was smoking on the Queen Mary, and I came out, and there was this little tiny book. It wasn't this one, but it was a similar book by John Reinhardt called, I think it was like Flammable. I know it had something to do with flames. And he is an arsonist. That's what his biography says. Because he teaches children, like he's a high school teacher. So he's trying to inflame minds. So he likes to call himself an arsonist. Thought that was very funny. I love his poetry. I have a bunch of his books. But anyways, so he had this little poetry book, and it was curious because I didn't know how it was folded. So I unfolded it and found out it is one sheet of paper. And then you print on it a certain way, and you get this little poetry book that you can pass out. Let's see if I can fold it correctly. And it's super easy to fold. And it goes back really. And then you can, so this one is the poetry sampler. And it's one I did way back when. And it's just to teach people about poetry. So it has little tiny, what is a haiku? What is a mirror haiku? Kind of like the Beautiful Poets Glossary, except for like way smaller. A swing queen and a cross stick. Yeah. And all the topics were poetry because it's a poetry sampler. And then, we have Poem in Your Pocket Day coming up.
Yes.
on, I looked this up to be slightly
April
less
29th.
ardent. Thank you. As I'm like
Klaus-
figuring out which tab. Oh God.
Klaus Vormann's birthday, April 29th. I plan to do a book of like some of my 100 portraits of Klaus and some of my poems about Klaus. There are a couple. I'm not an
just a
obsessive
few.
person,
Yeah,
of course.
not at all. No.
But, you know, hot soda.
I know who
And so-
he is because of you. So
Oh my gosh. I could go on, but I will do that. I'll save that for my little book of poetry.
yeah, so
And
that's what's going to be
awesome.
coming on the 29th on my little
Yeah.
second breakfast poetry thing, my little poetry live thing. I'm going to show how to make these. It'll probably be on my blog too. And I've done this
Yeah.
before. There's really clear instructable instructions. I love this though, because it's like Insta publishing, you know, just let it go into the universe.
Yeah, you just leave it somewhere. Like you
Yeah.
found his lying there. And
Yeah.
exactly.
And look at that, it
leave it on the
sparked a
table.
friendship. Like we're still friends and we've done things together. You know, he sent me blackout poems that I had framed on my wall at one point, you know, so yeah, from
Nice.
leaving that little poetry bomb at the ashtray.
So great. Oh, I love it.
So-
Poetry.
How about poetry? Do you have more poetry? I guess I could have read one of those, but I was showing it on the camera.
I
so.
think, why don't we move on to Mad Libs? I do have a couple more,
Yes.
but
Oh,
I really
yes.
would rather move on. I'm excited about the Mad Libs.
Yeah, and I just realized that we're running out of time.
We are, and we don't want to crowd out the Mad Libs.
Yes, let's try this
And
Mad Lib
so-
experience. Who's
Yes.
ready to do some Mad Libs? I'm going to share it
Yeah.
on screen. Whoops. I will actually share it on screen.
There we are.
There we go. All right, let's see if I can do this a little bigger because we're only going to do the first verse. So
All
right now, if you would like to participate in our first ever Mad Lib, go ahead and give us a noun in chat. Any noun will do. It could be butt. I'm not like pushing for butt. I'm not like trying to convince people to use butt, but I'm just saying it could be
It's
butt.
a possible word. It's a noun.
Exactly.
noun butt.
Like, yeah, I'm really just trying to say there's no
No wrong
judgment
answer.
here. All
Right.
We have ferret.
Ooh,
sorry,
I
what?
love it.
Ferret. Hashtag furry love. We're gonna get banned on YouTube.
No. Oh yeah. I think YouTube does like watch things closely. All right, I'll stop saying hot soda. That's gonna have to be our new hashtag.
All right. How about a verb? Oh, you know what I just realized? You're not actually supposed to show the Mad Lib until
Oh,
afterwards.
right.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
you
why
know what?
this is
Yeah,
an experiment. So.
it's been a while since I've done them, but that's true. You don't look at it. You just look at the parts of speech that you're contributing, and then you put it all together.
All right,
Yes.
I'm zipping it over here. Okay,
All
how
right.
about a verb? Let's see if we can get a good verb. Okay, climb.
Nice.
And now I'm switching back and forth between screens. A adjective. It could be buttful.
It could
or
be cheesy.
buttish. It could be cheesy. But now we need an adjective. I think Nina's like our winner of the Mad Libs right now.
Yay.
What's a good adjective, Amy? Think of-
Let's see. I'll think of one other than cheesy. How about desperate?
Ooh, desperate.
I was desperate to think of something.
Now I really do want to use cheesy though.
Yeah, you could use cheesy if there's another one.
Oh, there
Or
is.
switch them. Oh, good.
All
Then I
right.
vote cheesy.
Now we need another noun. I'm writing these down. All right, I'm coming back to chat to look. Oh, we have carnelian. All right, I'm going to use carnelian as the next adjective.
Nice. Woo!
Carnelian.
Oh, it's better with
And-
more cooks. Keep going, everyone.
I know. We have moon as our noun.
Yes.
All right, now we need a verb. Any verb could be butting as a verb.
But as to butt or flounder. Flounder, not the fish, but floundering.
My floundering butt.
Spew. Just off the top.
All
Freak
right.
out.
Verb. I bet there's like random choosers online too. You always have the random pickers. I bet
Yes.
there's like something like
You
that
could
for Mad
explore
Libs.
that. Yeah. It could be
So,
fun.
all right. I need a verb and then an adverb
An adverb. Okay.
and then an adverb.
Okay. Verb, adverb, adverb. Okay, let's see.
Oh, we have roving.
Okay, so adverb. How about
Scribbling these down. Oh, swiftly.
Oh, good. Yes. I want people
Keep
to
your
see.
adverbs coming though, because I think we have a couple. So that's that adverb. Then we have another adverb and then an adjective.
Adverb, lusciously.
Ooh.
Yes, we need one.
Lusciously. Okay, now an adjective. And I'll just say the rest of them. There's only 4 left. Adjective, noun, verb, adjective.
Okay.
So let's say
Adjective.
adjective, noun, verb, and adjective.
Adjective. Let's see. Anything on the chat?
We have no. So we need.
Okay.
We're still waiting on adjective. Come on,
No.
Chad is letting Nina do all the work, and so
Yeah,
I think
come on,
Nina
Chad.
wins a poetic license just by default because she's
I like it.
writing this.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I
Okay,
need
adjective.
Yep.
Freaking.
freaking,
Or freaking.
depending on how I pronounce that.
Right. If you say you can use it as a verb or an adjective, but I'm thinking of a freaking adjective here.
Yeah. I like that. All right. And then we have noun, verb, adjective, and then we can read this.
Okay. Okay, for noun, they could be telephone. It could be fog. Those are my 2 contributions. We'll see if anybody else.
Okay. How about a verb?
Verbs, people.
It's happening right now, live on Cake and Hyperbull. Oh, we have fishes. Fishes as a noun. Do that
Cool.
one.
All right. And let's see, verb.
Verb and adjective are the 2 left.
Verb, to jangle. Jangle. And then
we have adjective.
Adjective describes a noun, ladies and gentlemen, and others.
I'm going to change that verb to jangle fly because Nina also said fly, and I'm like, you know what? I can see jangle fly.
I like it. See, this is where the magic happens when we kind of combine these things.
All right, so adjective.
Okay,
last
adjectives.
one.
Steamy. That's just
Ooh.
a thought. I looked at my coffee cup and I thought steamy.
Okay. Let's see what happens with this. I probably should have actually written it in the ad lib, but
Next time.
Yeah. This is like a learning curve thing.
Yeah.
All right. So here was the poem that I should have not showed you in the beginning, but this is how we're learning.
Yeah.
All right. So this poem would be The Raven, Mad Lib style. Poetry Mad Lib. Once upon a moon dreary, while I carnelian. Oh wait, that was supposed to be a verb there. Okay.
While I.
Yeah. So we're gonna like move this around.
Okay,
Once
yes.
upon a moon dreary, while I roving weak and weary,
Or rove.
over a mini adjective and curious. Oh, I forgot the top of my list. Okay, because I stopped reading. Okay. Replay. I was like, wait, this doesn't even make sense. How are these so out of
Like,
whack?
can somebody give adjective as a noun?
Because at first I wasn't writing what they were, and then I was like, well, that's going to get confusing towards the end. So I confused myself by unconfusing myself.
I get it. I did that earlier in my breakfast poetry. Totally confused myself.
Yeah. So it was a good back. The Raven.
Yeah.
By Edgar Allan Poe, Poetry Mad
And
Lib
others.
style.
Yeah.
Yes. And contributions from the Mad, all of us.
Yeah.
All right. Once upon a ferret dreary,
Oh, yeah.
while I climb weak and weary over a many desperate and curious moon of carnelian lore. See, now it's making more sense.
Oh, I love this.
While I roving, nearly napping, swiftly there came a tapping as of some lusciously rapping at my freaking door, which is usually what happens when it's your door. 'Tis some fishes, I muttered, jangle flying at my steamy door. Steamy, plentiful door. Only this and nothing more. So I'm liking it. I'm gonna type that up properly so that we can read it easier and reshare it again next Cake and Hyperbull, or maybe at the Sunday, or maybe I'll share it tomorrow at the little. But yeah, I'm gonna type it up so I can read it smoother. But yeah, I love where this went, especially the freaking door.
It just came to me. It was poetry magic.
It's a magical poetry moment.
Yeah, another. Oh, that was awesome.
Now there we go.
Glad you thought that.
Poetry Mad Libs. This is the first time we learned a lot. Like, don't show the Mad Lib first because then everybody knows what's coming out. But yeah, I think I like that.
I do that again. Fun. We'll do that again. Yeah, that was great. Oh my gosh. That was so much fun. So I know you got this idea when you were at the game show that your husband was doing.
Yeah.
So did you make that thing, or is there a thing online that's like, hey, make this into a Mad Lib? Or
no, I did that. I mean, maybe there is, and I don't know about it, but I don't know. Entered that, So
applause to Angela, because that was a hoot.
Which is why you can see that it's only those, and I was like, oh heck, this is taking forever.
Yeah.
and also, a long poem. Yeah. And just to read it would take a while, but also I thought of us trying to do it in chat and stuff. That's gonna be, so we'll just do like probably the first verses. But I could totally see doing this in some way, like maybe send them, or Google Docs or something. We'll figure it out. But I think this needs to be. It's kind of like Exquisite Corpse.
Yes.
Which is a community-built poem that I love doing, but this is kind of like Exquisite Corpse, but silly and fun, and
Oh, fun. And a familiar poem to most of us, and that was so much. And I had a lot of fun anticipating, since you talked about it last week. I was like, I can't wait for that. So yes, we should keep it up. This is fun.
So I think that's an experiment that worked pretty well.
Right.
There's some tweaks, but yes, pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I think people will get a kick out of that, because everybody can participate. Everybody is probably, they feel better about participating than if they're not ready to share a poem, or if they don't even write their own poetry. Then and everybody, I think a lot of us have really good memories of doing Mad Libs. I use them all the time when I homeschooled too. Every time I found Mad Libs somewhere, I'm like, oh, find them, because my son and I were so averse to school that felt like school that we'd be like, let's sit in a giant beanbag and do a Mad Lib. And then it's like, you have to think about what's a verb, you have to think about what's an adjective and an adverb, but the payoff is so huge.
It is.
I think so.
Yeah, and that was a good refresher, because I was like, I admit, I looked up adverb again, because I was like, I know it describes a verb. Is that right? Like how, So, because I remembered it was ly, but is that just Stephen King's thing? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the man loves an adverb.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Well, else have we? I know we're like, I guess we're at time now. That was
Yeah, I think we
that
are.
went really fast.
It did, but that was really fun. I think that's all I know that's all I had. And I was just looking forward to those Mad Libs like crazy. So yay.
Yes,
Happy,
we'll
happy,
work
happy.
on, we'll streamline the Mad Libs, and we will have
Yeah.
many more Mad Libs because that was
Yeah.
like really fun.
That was
So,
so
and
much
there's so
fun.
many poems that need to be Mad Libbed.
We may just have to do that for the rest of our lives. Okay,
Mad Lib
everyone. So
poetry.
just come to the Cake and Hyperbull. Come to Third Sunday Poetry on
Write
Instagram.
poetry with us. Mad Lib
Yes.
style. Or whatever
my gosh.
style.
This is a sensation. I'm so jazzed. So
Yeah.
yay! Awesome.
Well, I guess that's wow. Yeah, I can like practice my speaking skills until next time. But yeah, I will start that over. Maybe I do speak Uchinaguchi.
Yeah, exactly. Your spiritual language is coming through, and
Yeah.
it's a dream song. And also, yeah, don't feel bad. I mean, it's like I think we all stumble sometimes. I usually just go on because I just do it. It's like with music. Oh, so many times I'll use a take that was not perfect. Nobody knows it because I just kept going. Like that's not what I intended, but that's what the universe wanted. That was like what I was trained as I started taking piano lessons when I was 5. And it's like when you get up on at the piano and you're playing at the recital, if you mess up, just keep going. It's like, man, start strong, finish strong.
Yeah, everybody else will think the rest was meant to be.
Exactly. It was like, oh, that's like free jazz. Got it. This is the free jazz segment. Got it. Yeah.
I like what Nina said. She learned that an adverb is an ad for a verb. I was like, ooh. I will never forget that now. So thank you, Nina.
I'm gonna tell it to my kid.
Making each other smarter all the time.
Beautiful contributions. Thank you, Nina. We
Exquisite
so
poet.
love it when you're here. Yeah. Oh, how much fun.
Yeah. So I guess that's it from us. We will be having our poetries every day right now.
Yep.
This is our poetry challenge to see if we can do this. You'll be tomorrow morning at 9ish at Hitness and Outrage. Okay.
Yep.
And then I'll be following up at Second Breakfast Poetry around noon. And yeah, and then we'll be poetry living it on your Instagram Third Sunday.
Yep, Third Sunday. It's Easter Sunday. I'm sticking with it because I think so, because I don't think that we have any plans. We have like fallen off of, I don't know what if my sister does something last minute, I'm going to be like, I got to be home at 1:30. But, it's like we fell off during COVID. And I take my Christian faith very seriously, except for the time that I entered the dark market and got punished for 3 months with no sales. I don't know if that's true. It could have just been a dry spell. A lot was going on in the world, but I've made a sale to you and my sister because I was like, hey guys, is my Etsy broken? No problems. Okay, thank you for buying something. And then 2 other people bought. So yay,
that's awesome.
I think we're climbing out of the hole. But anyway, the point is, I think I'm going to just do something a little bit devotional. I'm just going to go ahead and like lean into it with my faith. I know I talk about it, but I don't usually write poetry about it because I don't know how to do that. This is going to be a great challenge because I don't know how to do that without sounding either like an old hymn or a praise song. And honestly, I'd probably rather sound like an old hymn than a praise. And that sounds mean. I'm sorry. I just don't really like praise songs that much. It's like Hank Hill. If you ever watch King of the Hill, Hank Hill's like saying to the guy who does the praise songs, he's like, don't you get it? You're not making Christianity better. You're making rock and roll worse. I'm like, that he said it. He said what I couldn't put words to. Me, a poet. But so anyway, we'll see how it goes. I may focus on breakfast in the Bible because I'm doing a breakfast theme. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
no, I'm looking forward to it. Is that, that Spirit in the Sky song, is that a praise song? Because I love that song.
Going up to the Spirit in the Sky. Yeah. That would be more of a rock song because it was a crossover. I mean, I think it was just presented as a rock song.
That they redid.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That happens sometimes. I think I'm trying to remember if it was. It's one of my husband's bands that he's like, and I think it was Iron Maiden. Just flat took, or either that or it was Led Zeppelin. One of them flat took a hymn and turned it into a beautiful, beautiful rock song. And it's just like, whoa, that's a hymn. And yeah. So,
well, and there's another one kind of, I think it's just got it in it, Bittersweet Symphony. which I know because of the book Bittersweet. And then I
Mhm.
looked it up. I was like, oh, there's this beautiful, amazing song. And that
I
has,
have to look into that.
yeah, oh, that's a gorgeous song. And I cannot remember who did it. But yeah, and they're all cute. Like, so.
Yeah, see, that always does help. That's always a good gateway for
Yeah,
me.
that
But
tragic,
yeah.
thin, haunted cuteness.
Oh man,
My
I
favorite.
know what it's my favorite too. Oh shucks, yeah. So yeah, I get that. There was a great moment on The Simpsons where Bart replaced in one of the earlier seasons. He's like handing out hymns. Get them while they're holy, And it's okay. And now we're gonna sing "In the Garden of Eden" by Iron Butterfly. So it was "Inagata Devita" by Iron Butterfly, and the old lady on the organ is like da 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 da, and then she does that big solo, and everyone's like flaring their lighters, and she's like collapsing afterwards, right on the keys. So that's always fun too.
See, I'm gonna have to go find that now.
Yeah. Simpsons, Iron Butterfly. There was a moment when I worked at the college radio station where I was on the 2 to 6 show, right? In the morning, 2 to 6 a.m. So the fun calls you get at 4 in the morning, and I played Iron Butterfly, and these guys called and said, "No way! We are eating pancakes, and we were just about to request this song." And I'm like, I can smell the dope through the phone. But God bless you. Thanks for calling. Thanks for being a nice caller at 4 a.m. It was great. You had the people who were happy and stoned. So college radio, 435 watts. So
that's all you need.
Wasn't too bad. That's right. It was great. Great times. KCOU, Columbia.
Nina has pointed out that we said we were leaving, and we're now 17 minutes later.
Nina's keeping us straight. I gotta tell you, Nina, this is kind of the story. This is kind of our modus operandi.
Yeah, I think my husband, this is how he gets me off, because he's like, look, I brought popcorn. I'm like, oh, I can't eat that with the microphone, because I'll be like,
I will eventually have to pick up my husband from work, but right now I just have, unless the cat comes and starts doing shenanigans, I'm free.
We forgot the giveaway.
Whoa.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we were waiting on. Yeah, we weren't like being sidetracked. So you're gonna win this copy. I am going to start that now. Yeah. This is why we don't get paid to do this.
Free love. Yes, exactly. It's a wonderful free time in the world.
All right, so we're gonna go over here to our giveaway. If you would like to win a copy of Foundlings by Cindy O'Quinn and Stephanie Ellis, last chance. Yeah. We made you sit through this whole thing to win this book, and it is signed. I mean, it has a signed book plate in it. But let's start this giveaway, because I think probably everybody who's going to enter has. And let's see. Who's it going to be? We'll send it anywhere in the world. Oh, Pete Kelly. So this is on its way to Pete Kelly. I have never seen that photo of him before.
Oh yeah, me neither. Huh, cool. It's always fun to go to people's other things other than Instagram or whatever and be like, oh, that's their photo. That's my photo? That's how I always say. I'm like, when did I put that on there? Did I find it?
I don't remember that. That was a joke.
I don't even get stoned, and I don't remember that. That's just why I don't need to get stoned, because I can do it by myself.
So yeah, so congratulations, Pete. I will be messaging you about the Dropbox situation, but also to get this sent off.
Yes.
So, and I think that is about it. I like doing the giveaway, so we'll probably do another book giveaway thing like next month.
Yeah, we'll talk, because if you don't have stuff, I've got stuff. We can figure it out.
Oh yeah, I usually have stacks of stuff. We have the poetry books. So.
I do too. I just can't part with them, but sometimes I can't. I have an extra Letters to a Young Poet by
That's
Rilke.
why I have that, because she sent me one. And I'd already ordered one, so there you go.
Love that book. That's so good. Yeah. So it's so encouraging. So yeah. All right.
Well, I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much for being here at another Cake and Hyperbull. Oh, Nina says she'll send us books to give away. There we go. We could have a Sirens Call sponsored Cake and Hyperbull.
Yeah.
Because Nina is a publisher over at Sirens Call with I'm probably getting this wrong. Lee Foreman, I think, is also doing that, which I have. I have to do a little plug, but I have this little magnet next to me at all times for Berry Box, which was just a Lee Andrew Foreman. I knew that I was missing part of his name.
Oh, what a great
yeah, that was
title.
such a good book. I've got a couple of his. But
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, that might be a future thing happening right here that you just saw be created.
That's right. Oh, and I love the idea of a magnet of your book cover. That is smart. Oh, I
Yeah.
need more brains to like
and look,
mine from.
I always have it right there.
Yeah, and you're like, I should read that. I should tell people about that.
Yeah.
I'm writing down the title right now. All right. Lee Andrew Foreman. Got it.
Well, that is it, guys. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, before we leave, I just want to use one more little raccoon. I'll use this one because I never remember these. For no reason at all.
It was electrifying. An electrifying session.
We hope you're charged up.
That's right. I know I am. So awesome. Ah, I love National Poetry Month. Hey, everybody. It's National Poetry Month. Bask in the nerdery.
Yes.
No, it's beautiful poetry.
The exquisite poetry. And we will see you tomorrow on our Instagrams, and we will see you third Sunday on Amy's Instagram.
Yep.
And otherwise, that's it. We'll just see you around.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.